Tales of the Valiant is Kobold Press's take on the 5th edition system. Many people are hoping that this system is going to be the D&D 5e killer. It's been highly anticipated since the OGL controversy that happened at the beginning of this year and towards the end of last year. It was so anticipated. The Kickstarter went up this week. It got funded in 30 minutes. They want their system to be backwards compatible with all 5e content and want their game to be seen as 5.5e. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Class structures absolutely changed. So they say this right here. In current 5e, Cleric subclass comes in at level 1. They are pushing all subclasses to come in at 3rd level. So they're doing exactly what the 2024 update is doing, is having a standardized level progression. I understand why they're doing it. It's mainly to ease people into the class and maybe even give classes a stronger class identity. For me, I definitely would have preferred subclasses at first level. The people probably picking this book up are not going to be the same people that pick up D&D 5e. The people that are going to pick this book up are the ones that don't want to deal with Wizards of the Coast anymore because of what happened with the OGL. Or you get another group of people that are already invested. They don't like what Wizards is cooking up with 2024. They want to play something closer to what they currently like, just with some tweak. Misters of all. Look at the spells. It is verbatim the same. TOV is 5e. Look at each talent. They took the feats and copied it verbatim. Oh, that does not surprise me. This is something that should be expected with this, especially if they're marketing this as 5.5e. There's definitely a mismatch of what the industry and community want out of a 5.5e or what they want as a D&D killer and what they're actually designing. There is that. So let's get into Cleric. So the big thing with Cleric, their first level features are changing completely. Obviously, there is no more Divine Domain. You do not get your subclass. That has moved to 3rd level. So just like the 2024 version of D&D, what Tales of the Valiant gives Clerics is the Manifestation of Faith feature. It is very similar to the 2nd level Holy Order feature. So this is a feature I actually like, giving players more options to customize their character. So now with these changes, the players can play with the themes of a subclass while still having the freedom to fill the role or play out the fantasy they envision for the cleric, which I like. It's fine. The other change is going to come with Channel Divinity. In Tales of the Valiant, Turn Undead becomes Turn the Profane, which not just targets undead creatures, but now also targets fiends. Ultimately, I don't think this actually gives it more viability in play because it is still going to be campaign specific. So either you got to play some sort of Ravenloft campaign or Descent into Avernus to make sure this is turned on. Now, let's go into Fighter. Fighter gets probably the most upfront changes, I would say, out of all the classes. So, instead of getting Second Wind at first level and a fighting style, they replace it with Last Stand and Martial Action. Last Stand, what this feature is, it is a reaction-based recovery ability that will have you use your hit die to recover hit points when you fall under half your hit point maximum. So, the only limit to this feature is the amount of hit die you have. In general, I'm indifferent to it. It adds a level of kind of tracking to a conditional trigger, but at the same time, it makes hit die more active outside of short rest. Martial Action, on the other hand, so what this is, Martial Action replaces fighting style, but instead of giving you a static bonus like most fighting style options do, several bonus action options to choose from based on the weapon you're wielding. The options in general don't feel as dynamic as options presented in the weapon mastery system in the 2024 update, or what a Battle Master fighter can do in its current version of 5e. With Martial Action, I see what it does is that it makes the fighter feel more active. And the thing is, you have every option here, ability open to you with the understanding or the assumption that you're probably going to be switching weapons as you adventure. But based off how you build your character, you're still going to be locked out of options. Now let's move on to rogues. Changes or differences for the rogue? There is none. The rogue is the rogue. They legitimately didn't do anything to the rogue. Wizard, on the other hand, does get some changes, but nothing as drastic as the 2024 update. So in place of getting your wizard subclass at 2nd level, you're getting the magic sense feature that will have you sniff out other spellcasters, magical effects, and magic items that are close by. It's pretty much detect magic as a feature, but also you can detect other spellcasters. It is, I think, a slight power buff for the wizard because they no longer need to waste spell slots on detect magic. They already can be active in like exploration and dungeoneering, but now they just don't have to really expend resources to do that. Despite the wizard class having a reputation of being the most powerful quote-unquote class in the game due to its spell list, for me, I've always felt, and I know I'm not alone in this, that the wizard lacks a class identity beyond a sheet of paper that just has a list of spells on them. While the wizard is supposed to be the iconic arcane spellcaster for core fantasy games, Kobold Press doesn't really attempt to buck trends or really do anything different with the class. For me, that makes it feel really flat. Question again, and people are going to be asking, will this be the proclaimed D&D 5e killer? And no, it's not. It shares too much of its DNA with 5e, and by doing so, will continue to be locked in comparison with 5e, whether it's the current version or the 1D&D version, the result of being so tied to the DNA of 5e. That doesn't mean I don't think Tales of the Valiant is a failure in what Kobold Press's goal is. Kobold Press's goal is to set out to make it a 5.5e product. I think it's more on the community and the industry wanting it to be a D&D 5e killer due to Wizards of the Coast attempting to strong arm creatives and the industry as a whole. That's pretty much what it is. They want somebody to take the giant down. For me, Tales of the Valiant isn't going to revolutionize or play experiences. What I see that they're attempting to do is to create some sort of refuge for people that want something that's familiar, that are unhappy with Wizards of the Coast's corporate actions, or even just their design choices for what's coming in the 2024 update. But I think the more enfranchised, the more invested you are in this space, this might not be the game you want. You're going to be looking out for other games because you want to have different experiences.